welcome to my latest experiment. This is the big one, the one I've been waiting for all my life.
What is it?
Try to imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light.
Oh my God.
The cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
And I am the voice of the voiceless.
And there is no one that does it better.
The Guy and Harley podcast, streaming all over your face.
Perhaps that was the most important part.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Pigville on the internet.
It's the motherfucking boogeyman. I drop to my knees and pray that I can change my ways. I've been watching people die since I was a boy. My own life doesn't even matter to me. Imagine how I feel about yours. I'm Harley Neville. Welcome along to the Guy and Harley podcast.
And I'm Guy Pigden, and that was a follow-up Boogeyman reference to last week's reference.
It was
about
a sequel.
Boogeyman.
It was a sequel to last week's. Now, that's King 810 again. Go check them out. That's from their song "The Trauma Model." They've got a thing where they have a recurring boogeyman theme, where in multiple songs he says, "It's the motherfucking boogeyman."
Well, it was very apt as well because I was picking my nose while you were saying those lyrics. Because you can't see me because I am in Dunedin.
Yes, so that is why the audio is appalling.
Yes, so do not adjust your headset. Do not go, oh, maybe it's, sometimes you're kind of getting shitty upload or download speed and it's kind of degrading the quality of the audio. Maybe if I just reset it, it'll come right. It won't come right. It's fucked. You just have to accept this is how we're going to sound on this episode, and we apologise.
Just bend over and think of England.
Exactly. As you tell your dear girlfriend.
Exactly. and as you tell any poor girl foolish enough to cross your path. So why are you in Dunedin? Enlighten us.
So I'm in Dunedin for one of my oldest and dearest friend, who's not Harley Neville, who's
his other dearest friend.
He's older and dearer. He is Mark Agate. We've been best friends since we grew up together. We were next door neighbours. We've been friends for close to 30 years now, and it was his wedding. I was one of the two best men there. Best manning about the place, and weddings, hell of a lot of trouble, hell of a thing to do, and every time I go to a wedding, which is actually kind of frequently now,
ever the bridesmaid,
never the bride, and there's the thing is like I go to these, I'm a spectator looking on from the outside looking in. And I see them, rushing around like insane people, going crazy, worrying about ribbons on seats and, basically having minor mental breakdowns and getting to the verge of almost breaking up over setting up the wedding.
Yeah.
And I think, fuck that. I think it's not worth it because you're just putting this on it's for other weddings a lot of the time seem to me to be for other people's benefit, Everyone comes and drinks alcohol that you pay for and eats food that you pay for in a venue that you hired. And you get some wedding presents out of it, but whipped shit,
Yeah. You're well and truly under as far as, financially.
So far under. And that's the thing is like, you're going to drop, just think about what you could do with 10 grand. And that's not a super expensive wedding. And of course, people will do it for cheaper, such as myself one day. But think about what you could do with 10 grand. You just go, baby, we've got 10 grand. Let's go and have a lovely trip to Italy or Spain and just spend a month just with our feet up, drinking and laughing and eating good food. We won't have to worry about anything because it's all paid for by this 10 grand that we're going to spend on our wedding, and we're just going to lie around having sex and just a beautiful, wonderful time together, enjoying each other's company, in love, infatuated. Or we could spend it all in this one day on other people eating and drinking our shit and having minor breakdowns.
Stressing about it.
And so I always think to myself, I just can't see, I do not see the value in them, really.
Yeah, but mate, you're forgetting an important fact. We, as men, when it comes to weddings, ours is not to wonder why, ours is but to do or die.
Yes.
Sure, you and I would rather take 10 grand and spend it on piss in Italy. But, there's someone else in the relationship that might have something to say about that,
Well, that's the thing. I think, unfortunately, this is where movies have steered us wrong. Because, in movies you see these decadent, opulent weddings. Fucking Mr. Darcy comes along and sweeps you off your feet. And, some, handsome gentleman, the man of your dreams, so there's some romantic shit that you're going to remember for the rest of your life, and, your heart melts and it's so beautiful. And it's like, yeah, that's the fantasy, but you see, they spent, $100,000 on making that look like that for the movie, which you don't have. And you're not marrying Mr. Darcy.
No.
You're marrying Mr. Portly.
You're marrying Mr. Pigden.
And he's not going to probably come up with some grand romantic gesture. And probably you are going to have a lot more fun if you did that crazy big honeymoon, if you ask me.
Well, I'm with you on that one.
But I understand, unfortunately, sometimes, you want to have that sort of movie moment in your life. And
I do like the idea of having a big party, getting together a whole bunch of people that you don't get to see very often, and, all your old friends, and getting together and having a good time, and celebrating the day. I can definitely see the benefits of that. That does sound like a lot of fun. But all those ribbons and special dresses and all of that shit, come on.
Yeah, and there was
let's not get too silly.
Balloon emergencies and stuff like that. And it's like, does anyone really care if there's balloons here or not? Is that really going to make the wedding any better? Or are you just stressing yourself out and busting your ass going and picking up these special helium balloons? It all becomes a little bit much. So it was a lovely wedding, and it was really nice, but I just don't think, for the stress levels, it was really worth it. I delivered a speech, which of course was very magical and
brought down the house.
Brought down the house. So that was good, and I was glad that I could do that, and I obviously helped out with all those pre-wedding chores. But I also think that if you're going to do a wedding, don't try and organize it yourself. Delegate all that responsibility out of it, and then they will come to you and go, hey, what do you think about this? Just become a director. Delegate all the hard work to other people, and just eventually come in with some comment that makes you seem like you've given a lot of thought and are very wise, when really you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
The true role of a director is that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'll be delegating a whole bunch of things to you one day.
Well, yeah, I know. That's the problem. There's a problem giving the advice to you.
Yeah.
You take this all on board and I'll suffer for it later.
Yeah, although not in any recent sort of years, not in the near future. So it's all right.
Don't have to worry about that. Also, I think it's a whole other thing if you're rich as well. If you're rich, you can just pay for someone to do everything and have it look great and just enjoy the occasion. Yeah. I did. I admit I did get a little emotional. The voice wavered there for a second.
Yeah.
But it was a good wedding. It was a good night, and now it's all over, and they're paying off that debt for the next 6 months.
Oh, that's good. So all's well that ends well.
Exactly.
In 6 months.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Well, I am flat hunting, and I have found a flat.
So you're not flat hunting anymore, you're flat moving.
Yeah. So the next step, I've got to be in there by the end of the month. So I've got to be in a new place. It's in Kingsland. It's not very far from your house.
Yeah.
So that's good. It is about 1 million times shitter than where I'm currently living. Approximate million.
Yep.
It's down by the highway, so it's like 100 meters from the highway kind of thing, at the bottom of a hill next to, like, the motorway roars past just nearby.
Yep.
And it's sort of down in a valley. You know, at the moment I'm one of the nobles up on the hilltop in my mansion, and I'm going to be moving down into sort of a valley.
No sun.
I don't think there's going to be much sun. Smaller room. I've lived in, like, lots of crappy places, and this place is nowhere near the worst place that I've lived. You know, it's fine. You know,
I mean, you did for over a year live in a cupboard.
I also
like
spent a year.
Like you were fucking Harry Potter.
I lived under the. I was the troll under the stairs.
Yeah, and they kept you under the cupboard. You actually lived there by choice in a cupboard under some stairs.
Yeah, I did with you guys. Yeah, I also spent a year living in a van.
Yeah.
So that, yeah.
You're no stranger to.
I'm no stranger to slumming it. I'm not trying to be holier than thou. I'm not trying to be all up and high and mighty. But I do. It is difficult. It's. I don't. You know, like, every single time I've moved in my life, I've always wanted to move. It's always been a step up of some description, or it's been because I want to move for whatever reason. In this particular case, I'm moving because I have to, and I'm downgrading houses, but for me as an individual, it's going to kind of end up costing me more. So I'm currently paying $150 a week, and when I go to that other place, I'm going to be paying, after Angie's gone, I'm going to be paying $175 a week. I'll have a room to myself, but yeah, so it's costing me more money to live in a shitter place.
Yeah.
So the heart aches, and then it gets worse. Now, I don't really know the guy I'm moving in with, obviously. You know, he's just a stranger. They are filmmakers, so that's good. There's a soundie and an editor that I'll be living with. So that's cool. That's really good. Because that was one of the things when I was looking, I was like, when I saw they were in the film biz, I was like, oh, perfect, you know, networking opportunity.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you and I need a soundie.
We do.
You know, like, we need a soundie friend, because soundies is the one area where we don't have anybody we're particularly close to, and we always end up paying for soundies. So we need to befriend a soundie in order to take advantage of his friendship.
Exactly.
And this is phase one. This is step one. However, there's already a little warning flag about the guy. A little flag popped up. Little warning flag about this
orange light.
Just something to be aware of. He was like, yeah, cool, you've got the place. And I was like, okay, excellent. This is via text.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Lock it in. I'll be there on the 29th. You made the right decision. I'm easy to live with. To which he replied, great. Otherwise, I will chop your head off and hide the body if you make something stupid. Otherwise, I will chop your head off and hide the body if you make something stupid. Now, English is a second language. That's why it's got the strange things there. He's Mexican. So that's the strange English there. But the English is not the problem. It's the decapitation. That's the problem.
The bad English is not your primary concern.
And so I was like, I read that and I was like, I can't tell if you're a psycho or just not very funny.
Also, it brought back horrible memories of your scarring experience when your work colleague threatened
to chop my head off
to beat you. So, you know, like, to me,
it's a recurring theme.
If he'd said that to me, I probably would have just gone, you crazy Mexican bastard, you know. Yeah, but for you, this sent you into PTSD of the time that your workmate for real legit threatened to behead you because you were so annoying to work with.
So if listeners want to know what we're talking about, you'll have to go back and find it in the Guy and Harley archives. But I did. A colleague at a new workplace of mine threatened to chop my head off after I've been working there for like a week.
Yeah. So
it's a recurring theme. Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. Obviously, if anyone is likely to chop your head off, it would probably be a foreigner.
I thought you were going to say would be a Mexican.
No, just a foreigner, because if you look at the kind of murders and stuff that happen, there's normally someone who's come over from another country involved.
That is such a massive xenophobic generalization.
They're normally from a place where chopping people up is considered like kind of okay.
No, none of that's true.
Didn't you tell me the story of how recently there was like a group of people, they all had their hands chopped off for stealing in Mexico. It was like 19 people, and they're all dumped on the side of a road with all their hands chopped off, and this is what happens to thieves. Wasn't that you that told me that story?
No, that wasn't me.
All right. Well, just don't steal any of his cookies. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I guess.
Don't borrow some of his milk. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no. To be honest, the crimes are more happening to tourists over here. To be perfectly fair, like someone's come over for a holiday and then they're beaten mercilessly by a group of New Zealanders, or someone like smashes up their camper van and assaults an elderly gentleman, who's just over here to see some of the beautiful sights. So
or an earthquake smashes the fuck out of them and just and leaves them stranded in Kaikoura or some part of some backwater.
Kaikoura is a nice spot to visit, to be honest.
It is.
Yeah. But
I spent a night there, sleeping on the beach in my van.
Yeah. We'll just keep tabs on that. We'll keep tabs on this guy and how it all goes there. I mean, the
updates to come.
The big fear with whenever you move in with someone, the big fear. I've been very fortunate with the times that I've sort of ended up having to kind of do a reset and move in with new people. But
the new people have been less fortunate, but you've been quite fortunate.
Exactly. But it's like, are they going to be a secret psycho? Are they? Because everyone seems normal. You don't. With some very, very occasionally you talk to someone, you go, oh, something's a bit off here. But normally you then make that choice in your head that you're not going to move in with them. Most other people seem completely normal, very congenial, and then somewhere along the line, the switch flips.
Yeah.
And just you do something or something very arbitrary happens, and then they spaz the fuck out, and you're kind of like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I'm in deep now. There's no easy way out of this for me. And I have to live with this person, and now I'm on eggshells. I'm on tiptoes because this is a fucking nut bar.
Yeah.
And you just really don't know whether it's going to be normal or nut bar.
Yeah.
And then you're like in between.
And then you're like, Jim Eaton, you're going to have to leave.
Well, yes. Well,
this is your notice.
Well, I mean, to be fair, for him, he did have to leave. Absolutely had to leave. But that was him coming into a flat of established normals.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit different to when you cross the other side of the tracks and you move in with a couple of nut bars. Yeah.
Well, there is another concern as well, is that he's got everything. It looks like he runs a tight ship as far as like he handles all the bills. He does everything. It's him. It's not two guys deciding who wants to live there. It's him deciding who wants to live there.
Right.
Who's going to live there. He runs all the bills. He's kind of like he's the man in charge around there. It's his place. he's the head tenant, you know?
Yeah.
Which is fine, because I'm not in any rush to be handling bills or doing any of that stuff, so that could be fine, unless he is on some sort of power trip and he does behead unruly flatmates and leave their bodies by the highway.
Did you ask what happened to the last flatmate, or no?
Yeah, I met them. Apparently they've been there for like 3 years, and they're a couple, and they've been there for like 3 years, and they don't want to move, but the girl got knocked up.
Right.
So that's promising. That's good.
That is a good sign.
Although, when they're desperately trying to get a room filled, are they going to tell me the truth? You know, like, are they really going to say, "Oh no, he's a total psycho"? You know, don't move in here. They're going to say, "Yeah, no, he's great. Move in. We really need you to start paying the rent."
That's the problem with job recommendations as well. Is like everyone's looking for a referee, but I know for good fact that any job that really wants to get rid of the person that's currently working there will give a glowing recommendation to the next people, because they don't want the difficulty of having to extricate them through a firing. You know, it's very difficult to fire people after they've been there a certain amount of time. It's very hard to dislodge them, and then it's very easy for them to kind of bring a claim against you, and it's all a big nightmare. Whereas if they say, "Look, I'm leaving. I know you guys hate me. You know I'm a terrible worker, but say that I'm good to the next people, and I'll be out of your hair." They're absolutely going to do that. Yeah. So it could be the same type of situation.
Yeah. On top of that, nobody is going to connect you with a reference that is not going to speak highly of them. You know? So there's no point in calling somebody's references, because they're always going to say positive stuff. Because why would I give you, as a potential employer, the number of my previous employer who hates me? Yeah. You know? And it's never going to happen. You're always going to find the guy that you like working with and get him to be your referee. So the whole process, just silly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I went and saw Arrival.
Me too.
Did you like it?
It was okay.
I liked it. I liked it a lot more than Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah, it was better than Hacksaw Ridge for sure.
Yeah.
So the new Alien film, Arrival, basically about some aliens arriving. Kind of title was a bit of a giveaway, but whatever. Yeah. I managed to catch that, and I thought it was pretty good. Although, you know, there's this problem sometimes. It did make me think of Older, actually. In the sense that there's this problem with movies where movies are about deciphering something. And I don't think it's not really a spoiler. This is in the trailer and stuff like that, that essentially they've got to figure out what these aliens are saying. And so there's a lot of looking at screens and thinking of things. Yeah. And that is real tricky to make interesting. Cinematically speaking, it's really difficult because essentially you've got this movie of people looking at a screen, and then you yourself are looking at a screen, looking at people looking at a screen. So, you know, for me, that's something that I sort of encountered with when I was editing Older. I was like, there's a lot of looking at things. I need to kind of minimize this as much as possible, because this is not good film viewing. People looking at things all the time. Although I will say I also saw an episode of Black Mirror which involved people getting texts all the time. Yeah. And I completely was on board for it. I didn't really think twice about it, even though it was essentially like, go do something, look at a bunch of texts, go do something, look at more texts. I was okay with it. So I do also feel that, you know, with the culture that we're in, you know, it's like, this is what we do in life. Now we see movies where they're doing it. That's okay. Yeah. But there's just something about it for me that kind of bothers me a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, well, I was all right with it. I had really no critiques. It made me think. I potentially still don't really know what happened. You know, and I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I was on board all the way through. So I do suggest that people go and see that one. Another thing is I do have an ultimatum. You know, I'm an optimist.
It might not seem like it, but I am. I've got high hopes for the future of humanity. And, you know, one of the first things we need to do is stop watching these fucking Marvel movies and go watch hard sci-fi. You know, if we need to be thinking about the future, right? So I want to encourage people to watch these types of movies, these hard sci-fi films, so that more of them get made and more people are inspired to, you know, think scientifically and think about the world in that way. And you never know, like, you know, like think of all the science that Star Trek inspired. We've got to keep on creating this hard science fiction in order to create the next generation of scientists. So,
and when you say hard sci-fi, you are literally meaning sci-fi that gives you a giant boner as you watch it because you're such a fucking nerd.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yeah.
But I agree. I agree with that. It is a change from the Marvel movies, and it does have an important message. And you know, Amy Adams, who plays the lead, is great. And you know, it's great to see, you know, a film anchored by her. And it's, you know, there's like, you know, it's definitely worth a watch. And I also agree that, you know, science fiction of now inspires the science of tomorrow.
Yes. So you have a social responsibility, dear listener. You have a social responsibility to go and watch sci-fi films.
Yeah.
Particularly hard sci-fi.
Yeah. But let's not forget Rogue Leader or whatever the next one is coming out.
Yeah. Rogue Leader? What, is that the Star Wars one you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's not... Well, yeah, I mean, that's still better. That's kind of a good cross between Marvel and, like, hard sci-fi. You got the best of both worlds there, and I'm okay with that. So go and see that if you want as well.
Yeah.
You losers.
Still waiting for people to invent a lightsaber, really, you know, a legit lightsaber.
Yeah. They're just too dangerous.
Very dangerous.
You know, like, the skill required to wield one of those is pretty ridiculous. Like, to not... You would just, like... Because they just need to touch you just a little bit, and you've got a very severe injury.
Yeah.
You know, like, if they just touch you a little bit... I mean, they could very easily, by mistake, just chop off and cauterize your own arm, you know, without even thinking about it.
And there's that hilarious photo, which is clearly from an outtake of Star Wars, where Luke Skywalker is looking down the barrel of a lightsaber.
Yeah.
And then they've got another bit where they've photoshopped the lightsaber going through his eye.
Yeah.
But it
does he not do that in the movie?
No. So essentially, this must be from an alternate take where before he turned it on,
he looks down the barrel
straight at it, and George was like, "Yeah, you know what? Like, I know you don't understand what a lightsaber is right now, and you probably don't understand what I'm going to do in post-production to really make this make sense. But just know that is probably a no-go for comedic and, you know, purposes, is that maybe just wave it around. You know, we've got that option. Maybe just wave it around a little bit." And so that's what he does. He just kind of holds it in his hand and swishes it about and then turns it on. Because that's the other thing, is that if you think about it, I mean, there's a few different things about Obi-Wan being kind of a dick in Star Wars, and like all of them, is he's kind of a dick to other people. And in this one, he's really kind of a dick to Luke, that he doesn't go, "Your father's lightsaber. It's very dangerous. If you turn it on, it may chop you in half. So be very careful, because it's like this laser sword. Do you understand, Luke?" But he doesn't say that. He just goes, "Your father's lightsaber," and gives it to him. And really leaves it up to him whether he beheads himself by accident or not.
Yeah.
And just trust that probably turn it on when it won't be facing him. That's insane.
and he is just a dumb moisture farmer as well. He's a moisture farmer kid. You know, like, yeah.
He doesn't know anything about lightsabers.
No.
He's only moisture evaporators. That's his bag.
Now, there's a couple of other movies coming out that I'll be checking out. One of them is called Life. You seen the trailer for that one?
No, I haven't seen that.
It's a space one. It kind of looks like Gravity. They're up in a spaceship orbiting Earth, and a piece of debris hits them, and that's all I really remember. Can't remember who's in it, but somebody recognisable. So I'll be going to see that one, and then Allied.
Oh, Allied looks good. So Allied's the one with Brad Pitt.
The new Brad Pitt one. Yeah, so I'm really getting my war and sci-fi fix in late 2016.
They're really delivering.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, well, we're getting near the end of the year. 2016 for you. What would you give it out of 10 for yourself?
Oh, for me, it's pretty stellar. It's got to be like a good 8 or 9. You know, it's got to be up there. Because
I'd give mine a solid 3 to 4 out of 10.
Why? Because you broke up with your girlfriend, moved away from your best friend, and moved into a worse house, a better room in a worse house.
Failed to finish my movie.
Failed to finish your movie.
Failed to get funding for the thing that I spent 3 months developing. Also got
went on a harebrained money-making scheme to start a business as an Uber driver, then decided that it was actually really shit.
Also went on a harebrained scheme to do a drug test, which made me violently ill and came very close to killing me. Overall, not a big win for
right.
2016 is definitely, I was thinking this the other year, earlier, I was like, this is definitely kind of a bad year.
Right.
This is not a good year for me.
See, for me, it was a good one. I've been living in a beautiful, cool house in a beautiful, cool place. I've had enough auditions. I'm sure I've had a few roles. I got nominated for Best Actor. We shot No Caller ID, and it's done a whole bunch of things, and I went to LA. You know, it's all coming up nebs, really. I feel like this year my Facebook has grown.
Your Facebook has grown exponentially.
It has this year, which has been great, you know, because that's something I've been working on for ages, trying to build followers, and it seems like it's kind of worked. And it seems like 2016 is the year that it kind of finally has reached that critical mass. As you mentioned in a previous episode, it's sort of reached that critical mass where it's just kind of feeding itself and going well. So yeah, lots of things are going well, really. The rap ad in Australia came out. So yeah, things are pretty good for the old Nevs in 2016. Although, you know, obviously I am concerned about the state of the world with Trump and Brexit, and, you know, just the environment and just general international concerns. But for me personally, as an individual, no complaints.
You go, it's the end of the world as we know it, but for me personally, no complaints.
well, yeah. 2017, though, it could really go either way, because my girlfriend's leaving in January, right? So she goes to America, and I'm going to be, with the current plan, I'm going to be in New Zealand for 6 months. Well, I'm going to be in New Zealand for the whole year, but we're going to be separated for 6 months at the first half of 2017. Now, that's obviously a difficult situation for a couple to be on opposite ends of the earth. So 2017 is already kind of set up to not be that great. And I'm moving, just before 2017 starts, I'm moving into this other flat, which is not as good as where I currently live. So I'm going to be living in a more depressing flat without my girlfriend. And it's just, so it's set up to maybe not really be as good as 2016. And then on top of that, you know, the international concerns, there's no reason to believe that they're getting better next year. You know, they're probably getting worse. They're getting worse next year. Yeah. You know, like when nuclear war, right? It seems so far away. It seems sort of unfathomable that anybody anywhere would actually be crazy enough to actually use a nuclear bomb on anybody. But I think we're crazy enough, man. I think the people are crazy enough, and there are companies that I'm sure would benefit from it in various ways. And I'm sure there are people who are looking, they were like, well, how can we make this happen? How can we set off a nuke? And I think, there are people who would want to do it for political gain or financial gain. There are people out there, lunatics that want to usher in the end of the earth. And I think it is kind of a matter of time before someone like ISIS gets their hands on something. There are nuclear powers in the Middle East. And so what that means is, imagine if ISIS did take over a nuclear facility, and they did have one. It could happen. It could happen. And that's assuming as well that everything goes well between like Russia and the EU and all of that sort of these things, there's just various ways that humanity can fuck itself, and humanity has a history of fucking itself. And that's what makes it scary, is that we're in a little interim period between World War II and World War III, and we think that everything is good and we're okay. But actually, historians are going to look back and be like, yes, the brief period of peace between World War II and World War III.
Yeah, I think you're right. For sure. It is a legitimate concern. And for me, I'm just hoping that next year is better personally. Yeah. If the world's going to end, at least let me get my film out.
Yeah, so I can bathe in the glory of it.
Or so I can bathe it, so I can bathe in the glory of several film festivals. Yeah. But yeah, so speaking of our film, Older, which we did mention that I finished the cut the other day, and you have now seen that cut. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. It's good. I already gave Guy my notes. But I think it's shaping up really nicely. I still think it's going to really open some doors for us. I think a lot of people are going to really appreciate it. Like, I've been to screenings for low-budget drama films before, and they normally go pretty well, even when the films are not that good.
Yeah. Where are you going with this?
So what I reckon is that our one's going to be awesome, and the film is actually going to really blow people's minds as well. Because they'll be going in expecting another one of these kind of crappy-ish low-budget dramas, and then they're going to get their faces blown off by these awesome performances in this awesome film. So I'm feeling very positive about Older.
Your opinion didn't change. You'd had your first watch of the longer cut. You've had your second watch of the shorter cut. You weren't like, maybe I misjudged this, or... on second thoughts, not sure.
No, not at all. I mean, I do think there could be some benefit to inserting a couple of more scenes, which you and I have spoken of, to break things up a little bit and develop things a little bit more. But overall, I think that if it got released in the way it is now, I think it would still be really good and be really, really well received.
Yes, well, I sort of agree. I think there's just a couple of little key scenes here and there that may be worth just dropping in. And honestly, probably not going to be that difficult to do in the grand scheme of things, that's for sure. So probably worth doing, and it's just figuring out what exactly those are. But yeah, I'll be interested to see. I've got your biased opinion. I'll be interested to see some of the randoms, what they think of it. And how they feel about it. So I've sent it out to a few people, and I'm waiting to hear back. Haven't heard anything back yet. Right. Surprisingly, haven't heard anything back. But I think
you sent it to industry professionals.
Yeah. But I think you're actually the only one that's watched it yet, to be honest. Of those people, so we'll have to play that one by ear. Yeah. But we're getting there. We're getting there. It's getting pretty close to being. How did you feel about the length of it? Did it feel like a long film?
No, it didn't to me, but it's also a little bit hard for me to say because I've seen it so many times. So, yeah, there's an element of, like, I know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so that obviously makes it feel longer for me.
Yeah.
Because I know what's going to happen, and I've seen it before. But no, I wasn't, like, struggling through it or anything like that. So, yeah.
But yeah, so we'll have to get some more feedback on that. And
well, if people would like to know what the fuck we're talking about, make sure they go along. You've got a few options. You can go to oldermovie.com, or you can go facebook.com/oldermovie, or you can go on YouTube and search Pigville Older. Probably search Pigville Older Trailer, and it should come up. Should be right at the top. Older is the name of the movie. So Pigville Older Trailer. Go check out the trailer and hit share on it because that really helps us.
Yes, please do. All right, what else? What else we got?
Well, I posted something. I'm trying to build up my my online, my credits before I move to LA, right? I'm hoping to move to LA next year, at the end of 2017. So before I go, I've really got to build up my credits so that I've got some momentum behind me. You know, like, I'm applying to be an alien of extraordinary talent. That's the visa I'm going for in America, an alien of extraordinary talent. And yet here I am, I can't even get on fucking Shortland Street. You know, what kind of alien of extraordinary talent am I? I'm an alien of mediocre talent that can't get on Shortland Street. So I've really got to work on that, you know? And so I posted, so I turned to Facebook and I posted my newly refurbished IMDb page on there and told people to cast me. And I said, you know, I made a joke. I was like, if you've got any schlubby dad roles, I'm your guy. And I got some feedback from Mark Wambold. He said, regardless of your baldness, I don't see you and have never seen you as a schlubby dad. Now that's okay. I'm cool with that. This next bit was the bit that took me by surprise. Your slightly higher voice is completely not what I'd expect from a schlubby dad. What? I have a high voice? What are you talking about?
You know what? I wasn't going to say anything. But you do have... Your voice is kind of like a couple of octaves higher than you might expect.
Yeah, I guess my balls are a couple of millimeters higher than you'd expect. So
some people have mentioned that to me. That your acting voice, I don't know if it's necessarily your normal voice, but your acting voice is a couple of octaves higher than your voice in real life.
It was a problem, well, not a problem, but it was a thing that we talked about on the zombie film, because obviously Wesley's film is, look, I talk a bit more, yep, that's me, it's Wesley.
Yeah, so it's a conscious choice there.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, if you say so. It's probably something I need to work on is
start
that acting
more like
voice.
A man.
Well, I could consciously drop my voice a little bit, and try not to sound American.
Yeah.
So yes, but anyway, so that was lovely feedback for me, my slightly higher voice. So now just add that to me. Like, now I'm creating the image in my head of, like, a little leprechaun type guy. You know? He's this short, bald guy with, like, a silly high voice. And I'm like, hi, guys, how's it going? It's Harley here. I'm here for the audition. So
that like, comment has conjured that perception of yourself for you that you can now only dwell on and think of forever. While you're trying to learn your lines and legitimately put yourself into a character in a role.
It is going to affect my self-esteem, my image of myself.
Yeah.
But he does continue on to say, but you also exude an energy, a spark, a youthfulness much beyond what you suggest are your best casting opportunities. So he's kind of saying I've got I've got a youthful X factor, which should be my my strength, not my schlubby dad physical appearance.
Well,
So thanks, Mark. Thanks, Mark, for that feedback. I am happy that you have some kind words for me, Mark, and I'm highly... I'm not offended, because the truth should never offend a person. But
it's not true, but yeah.
But I'm heartbroken. I'm just heartbroken. That's it.
I'm not offended, I'm just devastated. Yeah. No, that's good. Well, it's pretty funny. Look, I would also say that a great actor must have some watchable quality, intangible, undescribable, that you can't really quantify, the quote-unquote it factor, that you just, for some reason, you just want to watch them. You just want to see what they're doing. They just are engaging on screen, and it's not necessarily because they're good looking or
oh, thank God,
because their voice is the normal level of a man's. It's it's something far beyond that,
right?
And I definitely think that you have that, and so that, and I think that's why people responded so well to you on the zombie film, where you got... I mean, even the most recent review mentioned how good that you were as an actor in that. And I think that was the thing, is like, I was 100% aware of this from our time doing stuff together, but no one else was. And probably no one really believed it when I was like, yeah, he's the guy. And they were like, oh, I don't see that thing. But I knew that existed and would come out. And that's probably, what he's talking about with the whole energy thing,
Yeah. Yeah, well, good. At least I've got something positive to hold on to.
Yep, so just work on that voice of yours and...
Yeah, well, look, I'll tell you what I'd like to do is I'd like to shoot a new sitcom with you where I'm essentially playing kind of myself, like a different version of myself. That's what I want to do. And I think I'll just deliver a much more naturalistic performance, I hope. That would be my goal.
Compared to what?
Well, I don't know, just compared to just
everything
my
else.
general acting, but sort of like the Guy and Harley show, the Guy and Harley sitcom that we did. I liked it, but I preferred my acting in the second episode over the first episode, and I'd like to just develop that a little bit more, like be kind of like just playing yourself, but making it interesting still. Yeah,
well, we may well get that opportunity
given that we are just about to apply for funding from. Well, this is breaking news for the Hardy Hundy.
Yep,
we're going to put in for another funding grant for our sitcom. So we'll let you know how that goes.
Well, we're probably going to do another 2 funding grants for that.
Yeah.
One which involves us actually having to shoot that pilot.
Yeah.
Which is okay. It's probably the good thing. The good thing about these funding initiatives. Well, the sort of good thing is that they do engage you to go, okay, but I'll actually write this script now, if that's what they require. Because before it was like, well, I could do a million things. They could all go, well, I could do this film or that thing or write that out. But I don't have any impetus to do it today, and I don't even know which one will be the best choice. So I'll just sit and think about them and not write any of them. And then if this opportunity comes along, which apparently it is at some point soon, where you have to create a pilot episode, then, that gives you a reason to write that pilot episode and to shoot it. Whereas before it was just the possibility among many, and you didn't even know if it was the best possibility.
Yeah. Look, if we were going to shoot a pilot episode, though, I really think there might be some merit to the idea of not falling into the same hole we fell into with the Guy and Harley sitcom, which, by the way, people can watch on YouTube. If they go to YouTube, search Pigville, they'll see a show called the Guy and Harley sitcom. They can watch the first 2 episodes, so go and check that out, and you'll know what the fuck we're talking about. Now, the problem, the pitfall we had that we fell into with the Guy and Harley sitcom was we shot these 2 great episodes, and we went to all of this effort. We had a reasonable sized cast, and we did, some really cool and interesting stuff with it. And then we left it. We shot a pilot episode with the idea being, and afterwards we'll get some funding and finish the season. But then, of course, the funding fell through, and we had this pilot which we kind of couldn't do anything with. So we put it online, and it got 5 million views on the first episode or something.
And people really liked it.
And people really liked it, but we didn't really have a follow-up. We didn't have anything to follow it up with because we hadn't shot it at the time. And now the actors have all changed their look. We've moved house. We can't really go back and pick it up.
No.
Again, short of just reshooting it. And so anyway, to avoid that falling into that same hole again, the idea would be, well, if we're getting these actors, we're accruing this money, why not shoot all 6 episodes and then apply for the funding? And if we get it, then great. We just pay ourselves a whole bunch and spend a whole bunch on post-production and marketing. And then if we don't get the funding, well, we've still got a product which we can attempt to sell, or at least at bare minimum put online, and people can watch the whole season, and hopefully that will lead to something down the track.
Yeah, well, I do kind of agree. Also, I'm big into big projects. I like to, now that we've been doing it for a little while, I like to really invest in something, mentally and creatively. Really okay, this is the thing, and I'm locked into this thing, and this thing is big, and it's going to be a son of a motherfucking bitch to complete and to do well. But that's what, because there's the thing is, if you're not getting funding for these things, why are you doing it? Well, partly you're doing it for the creative challenge. That's one of the things that is driving me, is to try and make something excellent in spite of the limitations. And challenging yourself to that degree is exciting, and that's what you need to do to get out of bed every day and do 17 hours or whatever the hell it is that sort of thing. And that's why sometimes I look at shorts or whatever, and I don't get as even with No Caller ID, which was, again, kind of, we were saying we could do a couple of scenes, let's challenge ourselves more and actually try and do a short. And I'm really happy we did that. But even that short, I was kind of wow, we did a short. Why wasn't it a feature?
Yeah.
You kind of want to take it as far as you can if you've already, kind of tested your limits in that regard already,
The thing is that we didn't test ourselves in that regard, because up until we shot No Caller ID, you were saying to yourself and to me, we need to shoot a short film just to show that we can, and then we did it, and it achieved everything you could have hoped it would, it's gone around the world. It was named one of the top 3 short films at Screamfest 2016. We are going to submit it to the Moas, which is the New Zealand version of the Oscars.
Yeah.
And I feel reasonably confident that we'll at least get a nomination, surely we'll at least get an invite and a nomination, even if we don't win.
If we don't get nominated, I will certainly be in a real rage.
Oh, yeah. Well, very depressing.
Real deep pit of despair on that one.
Yeah,
not because I necessarily think we deserve to win, but just it's always about being in the conversation.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I would be depressed. I would be depressed to go, because if we didn't get nominated for anything this year or next year, I'd probably still go to the Mowers just to be seen and enjoy and support New Zealand film and all of that stuff. But you'd be really pretty depressed, actually. It's you meet people. Oh, what are you here for? Nothing. Nothing. I just parted with a lot of money to come here.
Just attending, to eat some food and maybe hang out with successful people.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, no, so I agree. So I think you might be right. You may well be right about that. Do it as a full thing. And I think we had talked about that previously, so that's hopefully something we can wrangle and organise, because I would like to do that too. And I do
The first problem is that you got to write it, because we need to set a shoot date, right? But let's shoot it in summer, and it's like, okay, well, summer's actually only a few months away. So if we were to do it in, say, February, which is a time when the weather will be playing ball, although the cicadas will not be.
Yep.
But at least the weather will be good and reliable every day, so you can get a lot done hopefully. But of course, February is 3 months away. It's nothing.
It is nothing at all. That's the thing, is I'm still wrestling with older and trying to put that to bed. And doesn't want to go to bed, keeps fucking crying.
But there's a lot of merit to the idea of getting the next thing shot before Older is actually finished, just like you did with Zombie Holocaust, shooting Older before Zombie Holocaust was out. That was a real time saver, that one. Because imagine if we didn't shoot Older until after Zombie Holocaust was out, and until after May 2015. Yeah. May 2015. If we hadn't shot Older until after that, we're still 3 years away. We would be 3 years away from getting a cut on Older.
Well, the big problem is that my job that I currently work, I used to work sort of 4 to 5 days a week there. Now I only work 2 days a week there, but they're 12-hour shifts. That job used to afford me a lot of downtime where I would sit and I would write a lot. So I did a lot of work on finishing the zombie film there. I did a lot of work. I wrote the entirety of Older there. I prepped and pre-produced a huge chunk of Older while I was there. And now that job has become very busy, so I just don't have that time that I had where I could just sit and do that. And so then I only have my days off, and my days off are normally taken up with the older stuff. And so that has been a bit of a hindrance. So if anyone has a job where I basically do nothing for 6 hours of the shift, if they know of a job like that where I can just get on with my writing, just give me a heads up and I'll...
Well, I've got a job like that. That's exactly what my job is.
Well, you said that it was getting a bit busier, though.
It's still pretty good. It's still, you can still definitely do some writing in my job. It just depends what shift you get, because there's day shifts and night shifts. Night shifts are usually not very busy, or you're constantly doing something, but it's a repetitive something that you can kind of do, without thinking about it.
Well, you say that, but I do feel like, it does come down to because your job actually is there's a certain level of quality and standards that have to be met.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people are upset.
Yeah.
And I think that if I'm deep into writing, those standards are 100% not going to be met because they weren't at my old job.
Yeah. So the listeners know, I don't normally talk about my job on the show, but my job is I put graphics on TV. So it's constant and it's live, and it's always live graphics on live broadcast TV.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, one of the presenters is actually listening. He's a listener. So hello, Mark. Hello, Mark, if you're listening.
Thanks for listening, Mark.
Thanks for listening. I didn't know that. I had no idea. But he just told me recently. He was like, "Oh, by the way, I listened to your podcast." And he's listened to a bunch of episodes. He listens while he goes running. So that's kind of cool to think that there's a TV presenter out there that beforehand didn't really have any association with me. We didn't hang out very often or anything like that. And he was tuning in. It was great to hear. So thanks heaps, Mark. I love that. So anyway, though, I do think that you could definitely write some stuff. I mean, I send emails and stuff while I'm working, but it's just a matter of, the thing is, I've been doing it for so long that it is second nature, that it would just take a little while for you to reach that level.
Yeah.
Super Saiyan level like me.
Exactly. It takes a long time to reach a power level over 9,000, as Vegeta realized when he was training in the hyperbaric chamber.
Yes, thank you for that exceedingly nerdy expansion on my analogy.
Talking of that, I have 100% landed on the idea that I'm going to get some, when I become a professional wrestler, that I will get some Vegeta-style wrestling trunks with Dragon Ball Z reference on them.
Right, yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Custom Dragon Ball Z pro wrestling trunks.
And your special move should be where you kind of like slam people's faces with your groin. You know, like you jump off the top rope and kind of like land on their face with your groin, and you call it the Dragon Balls.
Yeah, that's not bad. You know, the thing about that is, one, you're essentially giving yourself a nut shot, which is probably not good.
No, because it could be your special move that hurts you a lot, but it hurts them more, you know? It's your finishing move, you know? You only use it when you really have to.
The Dragon Balls.
Dragon Balls.
Yeah, so I feel like I could do some legitimate damage to my balls with that move.
Yeah, well, you'd have to practice.
And also, it's one of those moves in wrestling, like there's certain moves which the wrestlers hate taking for some reason. Either because it's dangerous, or in this case, it's just fucking gross.
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel like a lot of them would be like, look, I'm wrestling you tonight, but there is no way I'm taking Dragon Ball's finisher. You have no chance in hell of me taking the Dragon Balls tonight.
Yeah. Well, you'll say that's your fucking job, motherfucker. Now take these Dragon Balls.
Now take these Dragon Balls to your face. And like it.
Now, I got feedback from Sam Hurley. Sam Hurley does a podcast called Nerd vs. Noob, and you guys should go check it out. They review movies and then and talk about them during the show, kind of thing. Anyway, I got some feedback. He said that, quote, "That McDonald's ad that you guys went for fucking blows." So it's obviously out. I haven't seen it.
I have seen it. I've seen it.
You and I both got shortlisted to be in a McDonald's ad, much to my dismay. And fortunately for me, I didn't get it. Unfortunately for you, you didn't get it either. But apparently it sucks.
I've seen the ad in question. It's not. It's not great.
Would you and I have done a better job, or did they cast the right people for it?
Well, they cast some very different looks, you know. Right. Like the guy who's eating the Angus is like, a very dweeby, nerdy kind of awkward office guy, you know.
Yeah, so I should have gone as Wesley for the audition.
Yeah, you should have gone as Wesley, but it was never going to work for me as a dashing leading man. That's really going to compute there. And also, you know, also what I thought was interesting is that, like, none of the people that were sort of in our group, you know, that we all auditioned together, none of them were there. It was a whole bunch of different people, and a guy called, I don't know if you know him, you might know him, Thomas Sainsbury, who is quite annoying. Started off as a writer, playwright, then became scriptwriter, screenwriter, quite successful in that, and then has now progressed to being in heaps of stuff. Like, I've seen him in another ad. He's been on a couple of TV shows and a couple of movies. You know, all in the space.
Oh, good for you!
Exactly, in the space of the time that we've been trying so hard to do exactly the same thing and failing, he's done that with an ease. And he's not like a super good looking dude or anything. He's 100% like a sort of a character actor kind of guy. And he's just absolutely decimating us in all regards.
Right.
So he's the guy that is next to the guy with the Angus burger that offers him a sandwich or something like that.
Right. Well, his career is over. Because
he was in the McDonald's ad? Or?
He was in a McDonald's ad, yeah. He was in a man with no scruples, You know, he's got absolutely no morals. The world is ending, and he attaches his face to the apocalypse.
Right.
So I'm sorry, Mr. Sainsbury, but it's over for you, my friend. The career is over.
Well, he's also just in a new web series, which I think may have gotten some funding, which is called like Parker and Sainsbury or something like that. Kind of similar to something that we might do. It's just two guys like on a stakeout. Yeah. Maybe it's called Stakeout. Two guys in a car talking shit before they go and arrest someone or do something.
Right.
And that's the premise, is they're just in a car talking shit.
Yeah.
And feel like we could do something like that. But also seeing something like that motivates me to push further and try and pull off something like the web series or whatever that is not just two guys in a car talking nonsense. Because we've done that sort of thing. We have talked nonsense a lot, two guys.
Yeah.
Some might say this is what this podcast is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's to push further. Anything else?
Well, speaking of auditions, I had an audition.
Oh, good for you. And how was it? I hope it was fucking good, because it's useless now, isn't it? Fuck's sake, man, you're amateur.
Shit. Now I have to put that fucking clip
in.
So much more difficult when I have to put that clip in.
Well, to be honest, I just assumed you weren't going to put it in this time, so don't worry, we'll just move on without it.
Right, right.
The listeners will be disappointed, but that's okay. I had an audition. It paid $14,000 if I got it.
Nice.
And that's not bad. And it was an American one, so only played in America. And I was playing a bumbling teacher.
Right.
So it was quite well suited to me, and it was quite funny. It was quite a funny role. But I didn't really do a very good audition, and it was one of those no dialogue roles where it's just like, okay, now look over there. No, be funnier. Yep, now look over there. Yes, like that, except funnier, you know, and kind of just like, this is pretty, like, hard to do these types of auditions, and I could feel it at the time. I was like, I didn't really succeed at this audition. And Simon Ward, who played, what's his fucking name in Zombie Holocaust?
Richard Driver. So Simon Ward, who had a major role in I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, playing Richard Driver, he was working as the casting assistant. So that was strange as well, like auditioning across from like somebody you know. I just didn't do very well in the end. And so, unsurprisingly, I did not get a call back for that one, which is a real shame, because $14,000 would be all right. Yeah, it would be all right. Mm. He's auditioned me a couple of times as well, so... Yeah.
The other thing I had to say was I released 2 vlogs, so go along to the Pigville YouTube channel, search Pigville Vlogs. I call my vlog series Drinks with Harley, and it's because I used to drink during them, but in the latest whole bunch of vlogs I haven't actually drunk a drink. It used to be like a ritual thing, but now I just call it Drinks with Harley, so go check that out. And I rewatched Saving Private Ryan to remind myself how combat should be portrayed after the disaster that was Hacksaw Ridge. And it really is an exceptional movie. The combat is done so well. And I showed it to Angie. She was nauseous for most of it. She said it was just too graphic for her, which is what you want, because it's a fucking war, and war is graphic. That is really a very, very good film, and that's how you portray combat. So learn a thing or two, Mel. Mr. Gibson.
Gibbo.
You
hear that, Gibbo?
You fucking Australian. One final thing. I entered the green card lottery for America, so that's good. I'm sure I'll get that.
Yeah.
And Anthony Fabian. Do you know who that is, Guy?
Well, you should know who that is.
Yeah, I know who it is. Do you know who it is?
Well, he's your long-time fan. A long-time crush, long-time fan.
Yeah, he's a long-time Facebook...
Gay crush fan.
Yeah, gay American beer lover.
Yeah.
Who has been supporting my career for many years. 9 times out of 10, when he commented on anything on Facebook, it would be of a sexual nature. But, not like too predatory, like just, okay, Anthony Fabian has deleted me.
Ooh.
This is after years. And the reason why was because I when I was in LA, he's in LA, and he was like, "Oh, let's meet up," and he kept on commenting stuff like "let's meet up," and it was like, "Well, look, dude, like, I was genuinely busy. I wasn't actually spending that much time on Facebook. He never sent me a message. He just sent me like comments, comments on public things. Oh, let's meet up, and then I didn't reply to the comments because, like, I was like, for a start, I'm probably not going to meet up with you, like. You are potentially crazy. He's one of these people who doesn't have pictures of himself on his Facebook, so it's like that doesn't really exactly evoke a lot of trust, does it? And then so I was like, yeah, but then on top of that, I was busy. There was like established legit filmmakers that I was attempting to make time to meet with, and there was still a whole bunch that I never got to meet up with. And so the chances of Anthony Fabian getting a meeting, pretty low, right? Like, pretty low. Like, there was a whole bunch of people I wanted to catch up with. And so, anyway, I didn't answer to his things, and he posted, okay, fine. Well then, I'm going, and I won't be buying one of those T-shirts either. Because he was talking for a long time about buying one of my T-shirts. So, yes, Anthony Fabian is gone. So, I think that's a little bit... I'm going to miss him a little bit. It's a little bit sad.
Yeah, he was a great supporter, and you let him down.
Yeah, I guess I did. But you can't get all upset when somebody you don't know doesn't meet with you, and especially because it wasn't like he sent me a message and said, "Hey, I'm going to be at this place at this time. Are you going to be around?" It was all just comments. So, sorry, Anthony.
Well, speaking of that and etiquette, someone messaged me on Facebook, right? Total random, apparently friends with you.
That doesn't mean much.
No, it doesn't mean much. If I see one mutual friend and it's you, I'm assuming that they probably don't know you either.
Yeah.
At this point. And so anyway, they messaged me and they're like, ask some technical question about film. About whether they should shoot in a certain format or not. Like, not even, hey, how's it going? Like, not, hey, my name is blah, 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 and I'm a filmmaker and I know you from such and such.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, how do I do this thing?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm sorry. Do I know you?
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, yeah, sorry, man. I sort of know Harley through the stuff, and I was just wondering about this thing. And then I did answer his technical question after that. But, some people, there's a protocol when you're, I think that's the thing, is like when you're Facebook friends with someone, or whether you have a public profile, like you have a public profile, I think I have a public profile, because that means that people can see your stuff. It's a good promotional tool. But I think that sometimes means for those people that are checking in with you that they think they're like, they really think that they're friends with you.
Yeah.
And that they can just holler up out of the blue, and then it's like suddenly like, no, you don't know us at all. We have never seen each other face to face in real life. So you have to provide some degree of context for this sort of thing. Yeah,
I'll tell you what fucks me off is when they pop up in Facebook chat and they just say hi, and it's like, damn it, who are you and what do you want? Or like one of the ones I hate is how's the weather over there? It's like, I don't know, motherfucker. Like, Google it. Like, what do you want from me? Yeah. I don't mind a bit of small talk, but there's got to be some context, like you say, and preferably like a point. So it's like, hi, I'm such and such, and I do this and I do that, and I know you through this thing, and I was wondering how the weather is over there. Like that's not so bad. But when there's just no point, it's like small talk is only for real life. You're sitting on the bus, hey, how's the weather? Yeah, it's good. That's not so bad. Facebook, you just kind of, it's like an annoying interruption when I'm attempting to
masturbate
furiously about somebody's picture.
Real distracting.
Yeah.
Really distracting when you're trying to rub one out and you get a random irritating message that just kind of softens your boner a little bit.
Exactly, the boner killer message. Exactly. Yes, so look, that I think probably draws the episode to a close, unless you've got something.
No, I've got nothing.
All right, cool. Well, people have probably listened to our terrible audio for long enough, so thank you for sticking with us. Make sure if you want to help us out with our various projects, please go to Patreon. That's probably the most important thing you can do at the moment. Go to patreon.com, search Pigville, and you can agree to give us like $1 per video or whatever you want. That's up to you. We're currently getting $12 per video that we put out, and we're aiming to get $20 per video that we put out. And there are various ways that, we can't take all your money, like there safeguards, like literally it can be $1 a month per video, and we don't even put a video out every month. So so please go on to patreon.com and become a patron of ours, a patron of the arts. That would be really awesome. Otherwise, go to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, and write a little review for us.
Yeah.
Go to Facebook, facebook.com/Guy and Harley, and hit like. That's our podcast Facebook page. That'd be awesome. There's also the Pigville Productions YouTube channel, so go to YouTube and search Pigville and subscribe and hit like on some stuff, because that really helps us too. So,
also, I'll just quickly say a quick shout out to Jeremy Howson, who has done some more Pigville inspired artwork this after watching No Caller ID. He's made up another print, another stencil. And
it's really awesome.
It's pretty cool. So you should probably post that in the comment section.
Yeah.
An image of that.
Okay, I will. I'll share it on the Facebook page. That's the best way to do it. So I will share Jeremy's new art on the Facebook page, facebook.com/Guy and Harley.
Alrighty then.
All right. So thank you for listening. Enjoy your run. Goodbye.
You've been listening to the Guy and Harley podcast, proudly brought to you by Pigville Productions.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.